Jon Favreau is an auteur. His movies share many similarities with each other, either with his choice of characters, the main themes, or film language. Before I get too deep into about this subject, I'll explain what an auteur is. The exact definition of an auteur is a filmmaker whose personal influence and artistic control over a movie are so great that the filmmaker is regarded as an author of the movie. Some examples of famous auteurs are Woody Allen, Wes Anderson, and Quentin Tarantino. But I will be discussing why Jon Favreau is an auteur.
So where were you for the last 30 years?
The North Pole.
Can you pass the maple syrup, please?
Before I start talking about the movies too much, I will first briefly summarize them. Iron Man is an iconic movie that jump-started the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was the first movie made by Marvel and released in 2008. It starred Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Jeff Bridges as Ironmonger, and Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. At the start of the film, Tony Stark is a selfless billionaire that sells weapons, doesn't take anything seriously, and takes no responsibilities for his actions. He gets kidnapped and is shown that what he's doing is wrong. When he escapes, he becomes Iron Man and stops Obadiah from selling weapons illegally. Chef was released in 2014, and it starred Jon Favreau as Carl Casper, MJ Anthony as Percy or Carl's son, and Sofia Vergara as Inez or Carl's ex-wife. Carl at the start of the film is a highly rated chef until he has some disagreements with a food critic and leaves his job to start a food truck with Percy. They are very successful with a food truck, and by the end of the movie, the same food critic that lost him his job gave him a restaurant to himself because he loved Carl's food. Elf is a movie that is very comedic and silly. It was released in 2003 and stars Will Ferrell as Buddy the Elf, Zoe Deschanel as Jovi, and James Caan as Walter, or Buddy's dad. At the beginning, Buddy the Elf is a human that somehow got to the North Pole as a baby. He finds out that he isn't an elf and goes to his father, Walter, after finding out that he was on the naughty list. At the end of the movie, Walter accepts Buddy as a son and has the Christmas spirit. Characters. The characters that Jon Favreau puts in his films are very unique, with some having a very goofy personality to some being very serious. One thing that one of the main characters in the movie have is some level of ignorance, whether it being interacting with an unknown environment like Buddy the Elf, or not knowing the consequences of his actions like Tony Stark. Even Carl Casper doesn't know anything about social media, and that eventually gets him fired from his job. By the end of the film, though, they all seem to know what was wrong with them, and they fix it. Jon Favreau likes to use the same actors like Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr., who are both in other films that he has directed. Also, he puts himself in all three of the films, either as a small role like Iron Man and Elf, or being the main character like Chef. Jon Favreau is a great actor, so it flows nicely with the film and doesn't seem weird in any way or out of place.
Kidnapped by insurgents, either forced to join their militia, holding them up to anyone who will stop a child.
Main themes. The main themes throughout Jon Favreau's movies are very similar. The most prevalent theme in his movies are developing a better relationship with their son or significant other. In both Elf and Chef, father and son is a huge theme, and in all three there's a theme of developing a relationship with a significant other. The themes in Elf is that Buddy wants to spend a lot of time with Walter, but Walter doesn't want anything to do with him. Once Christmas is almost ruined, Walter finally has the Christmas spirit and helps Buddy save Christmas. Also, Buddy faces his fears and asks Jovi out on a date.
You know about Twitter?
Yeah, I have an account.
Yeah? How's it work?
Carl Casper is divorced and has a kid that he has to split custody with. When he is originally hanging out with his son, they don't do anything that Percy wants to do. When Carl opens the food truck, things only get worse, until eventually Percy and Carl are very happy and they have so much fun working out of the food truck. Also, Carl and his ex-wife don't have a very good relationship until she tricks Carl into getting a food truck, and then they are very happy. Iron Man doesn't have any father-son themes because, well, Tony Stark doesn't have a son. There is, however, a relationship theme with him and Pepper Potts. At the beginning, Pepper Potts was a secretary to Tony, but by the end, they almost have a romantic relationship. Later, in Marvel franchises, they get married. However, the movies in which that takes place are not directed by Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau uses a lot of the same film language when filming his movies. There are a lot of scenes where two characters are either walking or not moving, showing both of them in the same shot with no cuts, and it's a dialogue.
You're my best friend.
You know, buddy,
You're my best
nobody
friend.
around here listens to me. I got really good ideas.
I believe it. I know, I'm right. I listen to you. You have great ideas.
I just try to go with the flow, you know?
Good. Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Go with the flow.
No, I gotta get out of the flow.
Well, then get out.
I'm in the flow. That's what got me here. I'm 26 years old. I got nothing to show.
You're young. You're so young. My papa, he didn't make Master Tinker until he was 490.
He also uses a lot of quick montages that sometimes have music but sometimes don't. The montages aren't very long, at least not as long as some other montages like the ones in Rocky.
Dad. What, son? Can I play Fortnite? Can't play Fortnite. But I did all my... I don't care if you did all your homework. But I did all of it and you told me to do my homework. Son, you're not playing Fortnite. Why not? Because you're not allowed to. But I did everything you told me to do. Please, can I play Fortnite? Son, I said no Fortnite.
You're never there. That's why I want to play Fortnite.
I'm sorry, William. I had no idea that you wanted to play Fortnite so badly. Son, I'll let you play all the Fortnite you want. Thanks, Dad. Come on. Son, go kill those Fortnite players. Dad, that was the greatest thing. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, son.
For my 1-minute video, I included the main themes and the film language that Jon Favreau uses in his films. I had a father and son develop a relationship and had two characters have a dialogue that was uncut and showed two characters in the same shot. I also added a montage into my movie because there are many montages in Jon Favreau's movies. In conclusion, Jon Favreau is an auteur because of his repeated use of characters, themes, and film language.